here. Definitely have a couple of thoughts both on Shantaram, but this is also my first time on Apple TV. So I have some thoughts about this platform and just the kind of content they're bringing as well. So let me just tell you, first off, this is a long series to get through. So for those that don't know, Shantaram is actually an adaptation of about a 900 plus page book. And this first season really only gave you about half that book. So there's another season coming. And I'm not sure if like Apple TV is just really, trying to get a bunch of seasons, maybe renew some contracts or whatnot. But this first season was very long to get through. And if there's a second season, I'm not sure that I can actually sit through it. However, I do think the plot was somewhat interesting, and do think if it was done in one season versus two, it could have made for a very good film. But let me dive into 3,000 feet for a little bit. So as I was saying, Shantaram is a TV adaptation of a novel about a man who commits armed robberies to fund his heroin addiction. And recently, he escaped from prison in Australia and flees to Mumbai for a fresh start. But rather than keeping his head down, he comes up with a fake name for himself called Len. And he essentially gets involved with gang violence and warfare in Mumbai. So, with that, we get to see these lots of different characters in the film, lots of gangsters, lots of depictions of like slums within Bombay, as well as a love interest with a French woman named Carla who gets mixed in the mix. And lots of, like I said, lots of interesting scenes, just like depicting gang violence, different crimes, and just some shady figures. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you might be able to sit through this longer than I did. However, I will say, like, the TV show, like the series, really kind of just depends. It's really dependent on the main character's acting. In this, we have a great cast. We have Charlie Hunnam. I'm gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, but Faisal Bazi, Antonia Desplat, and Electra Kilby. Pretty good cast, but it's really dependent on just like how well they're performing. The story, the plot, like can really drag in some episodes. And sometimes, like, I didn't read the book at first, but I would assume that maybe some of these scenes might be a little redundant or might even be fillers just to get this to its 12-hour mark within the
Actually,
series.
Michael, I've read the book. I read the book a long time ago, though. And when I was watching the show, I realized that a lot of it is just taken from the book. I think they might have fictionalized like what, 10%
Okay,
out of just for the TV adaptation, but
fair.
mostly I think it's a very true book adaptation.
So let me ask you this, because as I was saying, it was very long to kind of sit through. Are they going like word by word, like chapter by chapter, just putting it on screen? Is everything that
And
they're doing necessary? Is season two?
absolutely, it's not necessary. And that's why I like how Mira Nair does it. They should have, and this is my recommendation as well. I wrote the review. My recommendation is they should have got somebody like Mira Nair to direct this or create this, because she's very good at taking books and converting them into series. What was the series she did for Apple TV? Just for BBC, sorry, she did an entire series, and that was an adaptation from a book as well, and that was so beautifully put together in 5 episodes, literally. So you need somebody who's done this before, and you need somebody who knows what to take out from the book, because a book is not the same as ATV adaptation. And I guess, there are people that are really good at doing it. Mira Nair is one of them.
Well, and as I was saying, I really found like the premise of the series to actually be quite interesting. And with this being on Apple TV, I was able to do a little browse of other shows that are on Apple TV. And it kind of seems like they're churning out very similar content as this. Like they're producing content, but it's not necessarily, I don't want to say produced, but like it's just, I don't know, it's just average. It's just mid. It's like things that you would see on TV that only, really run for a few seasons and then you don't see it again. So I'm unsure if really this was the right platform for this kind of book to really be told.
I think Apple has done really well with diverse content, and you see that when the content wins awards. Ted Lasso, for example, is an Apple thing, and
Sure.
it won the most awards last Emmys. There is another show on Apple TV that I highly recommend, and we haven't reviewed it yet, but I watched it some time ago. It's called Pachinko, and I
I've heard
haven't
of this one.
seen better writing than Pachinko in a very long time. It's also based on a New York Times bestseller, by the way, of the same name, and it's the story of a Korean immigrant family. The movie has three languages: Japanese, Korean, and English, and the series. But it's beautiful. I mean, that adaptation was gripping because, as I'm telling you, I haven't seen better screenwriting in a very long time, like Pachinko. So I think, yeah, you're right in saying Apple TV is very choosy about what they're picking up for their platform, but I think they're picking up some really good winners.
Sure, sure.
And Shantaram is a classic. It's a book that, I don't know if if you're an Indophile and you don't have the book, you're not an Indophile. That's what I would say. But
I will say this though, having not read the book, after having seen this, I am interested in reading the book. So that is one thing that I will definitely give to it. It did give me a lot of
I have a
interest
copy.
in
You can
reading the
take it
book.
from me.
This is great. We're all about reading and literacy here. We're gonna see if I can pick up my literacy after I read this book. It'll be a while since I've read a long